quite a number of people who've spoken about their status when it comes to relationships, and more specifically when it comes to dating Kenyan men. Kenyan men have seemed to have accumulated a little bit of a reputation, and not the best one in this particular case, because it seems that every celebrity, or at least many of the celebrities who are female and are single, whenever they're asked about their dating life, they are very quick to discount any relationships with Kenyan men. We had the very popular girl, what was her name? I forget what her name was. Who was always talking about, I forget her name. What's her name? Shakila, who was always talking about her status when it comes to men and her preference to Nigerian men. And we thought that that was maybe left field. We assumed that that was a situation which is like a one person who's making an assumption, and she's decided to go the way she wants to go simply because she seemed to have an affinity for Nigerian men. So we just assumed that's a Shakila thing, okay? We assumed it's a Shakila thing. But now, a celebrity who does not speak much about not just her life, but her relationships, Azeezah Hashim has actually joined into the conversation. Now, popular radio presenter, TV host, as in she does everything, this girl, was speaking about her stance when it comes to Kenyan men, and I quote, she said, "Kenyan men now want people to beg them. We say that they are in their soft boy era. A man now wants you to be the one chasing him, calling him in the morning, looking for him, basically being the one running after him. But that is not something I can do because I want to be the one being chased and asked out. They feel like sugar and they like being begged." And of course, this was a hilarious tangent because she seems to have a little bit of an affinity for Tanzanian men. You know, it seems she's jealous, a little jealous of the Tanzanian babes, because when she was asked about why Tanzanian women would do, want to, why it is preferential for Tanzanian women to actually be out with Tanzanian men and not try Kenyan men, she said that it feels like it's a lot of work for them as well, and they wouldn't go that route. Now, I personally have nothing against Kenyan men, simply because I'm married to one and I have a brother who is very much a Kenyan man. However, I do need to say that there are very few good men in this country. Very, very few. It's almost a handful. You can count them. For every 3 good men, there's one, actually it's the opposite. For every 1 good man, there are like 3 or 5 that are just tragically lost in the sauce. They prefer, just like, first of all, it feels like they don't want to date. That's thing number 1. Kenyan men don't seem to want to date in general. And number 2, when it occurs to them that maybe I can date, it's always like a lackluster type energy. It's like, all right, fine, I'll date you. It's like okay, fine, if I have nothing else to do. It's almost like I don't want to do this, but like, I have to do it. It's like an actual obligation, because either they're being forced by their mothers to get married, or there's pressure just to be with someone in this cold weather. It's always giving that kind of energy. But let's not discount the good men in Kenya, because there are amazingly good men in Kenya. There are very romantic men in this country. People who will go, bend forwards, backwards, sides and sides, just to provide and give you whatever the hell you want and make you happy. So I don't know what your stance is. Do you feel like there are more bad Kenyan men than there are good Kenyan men? I feel like that's the problem. There are too many bad stories, bad narratives, and very few good stories. Maybe it's time for us as Kenyan women to also try and change the narrative. If you're dating a good Kenyan man, if you are being dated, loved upon, romanticized, being given all those things that women seem to want, please share your story so we can change the narrative a little bit. But hey, it is what it is.
But she's not wrong.
She ain't.
I feel like Kenyan men, majority of the Kenyan men are in the soft boy era.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, they will make you suffer. Because now you're wondering, hey, should it not be the other way around? I just don't get it. But a lot of you seem to be in your princess era, and good for you, but it doesn't mean that we should be, should take part in whatever shenanigans you guys are doing. I feel like y'all should do better. Have you ever, somebody doesn't call you, so you don't call them, and then they call you and they're like, so
why didn't you call me? Ugh.
Or somebody doesn't even make plans with you, and then they're like, well, you could have told me you wanted to go.
Could have to. Ooh.
They want to be courted. They want to be, taken out. They have even started this thing about going Dutch. Anyway,
At the
Nikubaya.
50-50.
Soko ni chafu.